automakers have watered down electrification plans, pointing to a lack of demand for electric vehicles. Data from the ACEA showed battery electric cars at 12.1% of European market share in July, down almost 1.5 percentage points on the year. Pleased to say that Kames, managing director at Lazard, joins me to discuss the outlook for the automakers. Good morning. Good to have you on the show. I was reading your commentary suggesting that these messages from some of the European car makers is actually not a doomsday, and what we are hearing is actually a little bit of an exaggeration. Just highlight, why do you think this is the case?
Yeah, the auto industry is obviously in a deep transformation, and if there is, if there are new technologies, then at the beginning they're typically overhyped. Then these high expectations are somewhat disappointed, and then the trend continues from there. And when you have these technology transformations, the trend is never linear. Yeah, so sometimes it takes longer than originally expected. But I do think that electrification ultimately will come, and we're past the point of no return. And demand may be a little bit softer than originally expected, but I think ultimately we'll have the electric car dominating the world effectively.
Why? I'm still not following why do you think that's the case when you hear the car makers themselves suggesting that there's just not demand for these cars. Perhaps consumers feel that they are too expensive. The infrastructure to recharging is also not widely available. How come do you think that this is actually going to dominate our roads in the future?
Yeah, I think that's a temporary effect or a short-term effect. The demand is not there yet, and the infrastructure is not there yet. But everywhere, pretty much everywhere in the world, there are initiatives underway that there will be more infrastructure. There are investments into this technology. Always, sometimes at the beginning, consumers are hesitant with new technologies, but ultimately, I think it will go this way. And for the European car industry, if you want to be on top also in the future, and that is in 10, 20, 30 years, you still have to do the investments now and basically have a little bit of a longer term perspective.
So who's making those investments at this stage? Who is likely to be the leader in this space in the next 2 to 3 years? Are we still talking about European companies here, or more the likes of some of those Chinese brands?
I mean, undoubtedly, there are new competitors, for instance, the Chinese. But I think to talk let's say the Western OEMs down, that they will have no chance against the Asian competition, I think that's a little bit too early. I think most car companies, if not all of them, have realized that there is this transformation and are also taking action now. And indeed, the next 2-3 years, I think, will be pretty decisive in adapting and making sure that they remain competitive in the future.